Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Amon Green, Green Bay Packers all-time leader in rushing, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packer content. Go Pack, go!
What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on Packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Join alongside Tim in Green Bay, here to talk Packers Lions. We got a jam-packed show for you guys and gals this evening. We got the updated injury report. We'll give you all the news there. A little Frank Ragnow coming out of retirement, sounds like. We'll hit that. Also, the Packers made a roster move, one that, listen, it is what it is. We'll talk about it a little bit. And then, of course, we'll jump into the defensive side of the ball, show you a new metric that just dropped and where the Packers rank in terms of defense, along with Micah Parsons versus Penei Sewell tomorrow. That should be an interesting matchup when they are matched up against each other from time to time. Then we'll talk a little Jordan Love, Jared Goff, and then power rankings, PFF preview, the whole 9 yards. This is just basically going to be a glorified Packers versus Lions Thanksgiving Day preview. So we'll dive into everything. We'll keep an eye on the chat, get you guys and gals involved there as well. Before we do, if you guys would do that YouTube stuff for us, hit like, hit subscribe. If this is your first time tuning into PTA, welcome. Thank you for making us a part of your evening. We're not experts. We're not insiders. We're not media. We're fans just like you talking Packers on the daily. So if you look for that type of content, make sure you hit subscribe and make sure you click that bell icon so you're notified when we go live here in the future. Tim, you ready to talk a little Packers Lions? Man, this Thanksgiving Day game got here quick, bro.
Yeah, crept up on us. Short week, right? Let's do it. Let's break it down.
Let's jump in. Waste no time. First tweet we want to hit here. Paul Brettel tweeted out, Nate Hobbs, Keyshawn Nixon, Matthew Golden, Quay Walker are all questionable. Carl Brooks, Savion Williams, Van Ness, and Jaden Reed are out. No injury designation for Josh Jacobs, so he should be good to go. So we get Jacobs back. No surprise there. We were kind of holding out hope that we would see Jaden Reed this week. That's not going to happen. I know that was their target was around Thanksgiving, was they wanted to try to get him back. How do we feel about this injury report here, Tim? Because listen, Keyshawn Nixon and Matthew Golden most likely being good to go. I think that's great news. Quay Walker as well. I mean, when you say questionable 50-50 shot, I wouldn't be surprised if they sit Quay. I think you'll more than likely see Golden and Nixon, though. But how do you feel about this, man?
I would agree with that. And same thing with Hobbs, right? 50-50 shot. Maybe he's back in a supporting role, snap count at best, but maybe he's held out as well. And same thing with Quay. But yeah, MG and K9, I think are going to probably play. But looking at, Carl Brooks, Savion, and LVN, I mean, foot, right? Ankle, foot, something going on there. Something to keep an eye on going forward. And no designation for Josh Jacobs is good news, right? Hopefully he's definitely going to play.
I agree, man. I think that's great news. He's probably good to go. He's probably good to go last week. You know how that guy is, but I think it's probably more precautionary than anything. So here's the full injury report. And again, Wendell Ferreira over on X tweeted out several injury issues for the Lions as well, especially along the offensive line. He did point out Frank Ragnow is coming out of retirement, but not against the Packers. There were some reports that were saying he was going to play tomorrow somehow. I'm going, what are y'all smoking on to think he's going to just come out of retirement and jump right in the lineup? But here is the injury report in its entirety in terms of the players that were out. We talked about Carl Brooks, Lucas Van Ness, Jaden Reed, and Savion Williams all out, questionable. The Matthew Golden, Nate Hobbs, Keyshawn Nixon, Quay Walker. Everybody else with no game status, which means they should be good to go. Javon Bullard, Edgerrin Cooper, Josh Jacobs, Zach Tom, Dontavion Wicks, Romeo Doubs, Jordan Love, and Christian Watson. No surprise there. When you jump up to the Detroit Lions side of things, so Graham Glasgow, I think is how you say it, he will be out with the knee. So keep in mind, Frank Ragnow was like their all-world center, hell of a football player, plays the game the right way, right? Well, he retired this season, okay? So let's put that to the back burner for a second. They had drafted a young whippersnapper. I'm trying to think of his name right off the bat.
Tate
Ratledge, and there was rumors he was going to be the center, and then there was rumors that Glasgow was going to be the center. I don't know if Tate Ratledge ever took snaps at center or not, but regardless, they are at least down to their third choice at center in this game. And I think that could be absolutely huge. Now, it helps that they're at home. However, you know how Packer fans They'll travel a little bit too. Don't be surprised if it gets kind of loud in the dome. There's nothing I would want more on Thanksgiving Day, Tim, than to have them have to go to the silent count at home. That would be absolutely awesome.
And being inside Ford Field there in the dome, right? It echoes around, and if you're loud, it's going to be noticeable down there on the field for sure. So we all know the Packer faithful travel well, and I'm sure that'll be no stranger tomorrow in the Motor City. Looking forward to it.
Down there in that glorified warehouse. That's what I always think when I see that. It's just like, damn, could y'all not do anything to the Raptors to make it look more professional than that? It looks like they're playing in a literal warehouse. So,
well, they don't have any banners to hang up, so
it's true. Very true. Kirby Joseph, safety. We talked about it yesterday. He is out. So that's a huge blow for them. Josh Paschal, edge defender with the back injury. He's out. Wide receiver Khalif Raymond. He's out with the ankle injury. Tight end Brock Wright with the neck out as well. So they are really banged up at tight end. Yeah. Sam Laporta's on IR with the back surgery. Now you got Brock Wright with the neck injury. So they're going to be really, really shorthanded in terms of tight end and center, right? Really, and health safety for that matter as well. For a defense that's it's definitely taken a step back this season. So those are the players that are listed out for the Lions. How do you feel about that list there, man?
Yeah, I mean, Kirby Joseph not playing, that's huge in that secondary. But then again, you see Brian Branch, full participant the last couple of days. So I'm assuming he'll be back there. And then, yeah, you're right. They're thin at tight end, man. Really thin at tight end. I'm wondering if they're going to think about running that ball, They're going to have to run the football.
Yeah, they're going to have to, and that's what they're doing well right now. In terms of their offensive line, they're run blocking really well. They're pass blocking like poopy, right? Poopy. That's what we say over here in the streets. All right, Coach Lynn said Tesla out. So here are the questionables. Okay, Terrion Arnold with the concussion. He was in concussion protocol. Looks like he's listed as questionable. I guess it'll be a game time decision. Edge defender Marcus Davenport with the shoulder was full practice, still listed questionable. He'll probably go, I would imagine. Taylor Decker, tackle with the shoulder, limited all week. He's questionable. Then you had Miles Frazier, offensive lineman with the knee injury, full practice all week, listed as questionable. There's Tate Ratledge listed as a guard with a knee injury, limited all week. Penei Sewell with the ankle, limited all week. Both of those guys are listed as questionable. There's the one Coach Lynn asked about, Isaac Tesla with the hand injury, limited, questionable. And then Sion Vaki, ankle, thumb, the running back there, limited, questionable as well. Yeah. I think you'll probably get half of those guys playing, but those offensive line, Tim, they're going to have to play.
I was going to say they're banging the hell up on the O-line. And then you talk about tight end. They're thin at tight end as well. So that's going to create problems. And then, you look at Tesla, their young upstart receiver here, a hand injury on a receiver, that's serious business. That's your job, catch the ball. So that's a coin flip. And then, looking at who had the concussion or who was in the Terrion Arnold in the secondary. So that's a game time decision probably if he clears and he's good to go. But if they're missing him and Kirby Joseph in that secondary, it might be Toyotathon in full effect tomorrow for Jay Money and the boys.
And Brian Branch does not have a game status, so he is definitely playing, but he's been banged up with the toe and the ankle injury. Now, he was full practice or limited, then full for this week, and then as well as running back Jacob Salyers, I guess is how you say Sailors maybe. Yeah. Back, shoulder injury, limited. So they are, man, they're banged up. Again, though, those boys are going to be ready to play. We talk about this all the time. Whenever you have a division rival like this, especially on a national stage, knowing everybody's watching, you're going to be playing for the turkey leg, the whole 9 yards, right? You're going to get the best version of that team possible. So throw the injuries out the window, throw the injury report out the window, throw the records out the window. This is going to be a good game. I really believe that, man. So
me too.
Pack Daddy in the house. Good to see you. Ronnie says that's second A in Tesla makes me irrationally angry. Dude, I was wondering if it was something political, to be honest with you, Pack Daddy. I'm like, how long has he had that second A in there? Because I kind of feel like they just tacked that on to make this non-controversial in today's society. But I always want to say Tesla, too. So, anyway.
Maybe that's just to remind us to say Tesla instead of Tesla. I guess.
I feel like you got to stick your pinky out as you say that.
I'm with Ryan, though. It's like, why am I so frustrated with this?
I mean, it makes my mind do gymnastics. I'm like,
yep.
How do I – what? Why? Why are we doing that? So Doug in the chat says Big Cat was crying on X that he wanted to protest Ragnall's return. That sounds like something Big Cat would do. I call it. Yeah,
A Bears fan crying? Shocking.
I think he's called Big Cat for another reason, but we'll keep this thing PG-13 here. All right. So let's move it along here. Green Bay's side of the injury report. Again, we talked about the four guys out. The questionables: Matthew Golden, Nate Hobbs, Keyshawn Nixon, and Quay Walker. You think all four of those will go, Tim? And am I maybe, there's no two injuries that are the same, right? Yeah. And when you see that, obviously Keyshawn Nixon and Quay Walker both had a stinger, I immediately want to think, well, damn, that means there's no way Keyshawn Nixon's going to play because Quay missed last week. But again, everybody heals different, and there's different levels to stingers, all that good stuff. So I think Quay will probably go. Maybe Keyshawn's the one that doesn't go. They would have had him listed as no practice on Monday and then limited Tuesday and Wednesday, the game status being questionable. If you had to pick out of those four, who do you think's playing, man?
I think there's a chance all four are active, but all of them being on snap counts. But if I had to really bet on it, I'd say Matthew Golden, Keyshawn, and maybe Nate Hobbs. Maybe Quay is another week. You never know. Like you said, stingers are tricky, man. Neck injury is, no joke. And, look at Quay and Keyshawn with similar injuries, right? You're talking about two totally different builds, right, physically. So it all depends on how they heal. But questionable is a good sign. At least it's not doubtful or, definitely out. So I would think at least 50% of them are active, but definitely on a snap count.
Yeah. So again, I think we're good. I think Matthew Golden will play, especially with Savion and Jaden being out. I feel like they probably held those guys back a little bit because they're getting Golden back. So I think Matthew Golden will play. I think there's a chance that Quay plays more so than Keyshawn. And in terms of Nate Hobbs, I don't know, man. I don't know if this is the week or not, to be honest with you. I think it'll probably be one of those two, though, right? Between Keyshawn and Nate Hobbs, whichever one they decide to let go, maybe sit the other one. I don't know. We'll see, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll find out tomorrow before.
I would anticipate whichever one of those two plays, they're going to be limited in the game. We're not going to see the 30, 40, 50 snaps that we're used to.
Right. Completely agree. So there is your injury report, your final injury report for the Thanksgiving Day matchup between the Lions and the Packers. We'll be going live a little bit earlier this week because I got to travel about an hour to go to where we're going for Thanksgiving this year. So we're going to go live at 10 a.m. Central in the morning for the PTA pregame show. So make sure you guys set a reminder for that. We'll be going live at 10 a.m. Central. So we probably won't have any of the inactives, but we'll just kind of give you guys a last-second preview of everything, get you ready for the game before I hit the road. I should be sliding in sideways into Rogersville, Tennessee, crash out. All right, watch the game real quick, jump on for a post-game show. We're still going to try to do that if my wife doesn't try to divorce me in the process. So that's the plan as it sits right now. So let us know what you think about the injury report, though. Who do you think will be playing tomorrow? Is this good news? I was kind of surprised by Jaden Reed. Or you guys surprised? Did you feel like, hey, no, this is probably a little more – maybe it's a little worse than they thought? Maybe this was their plan all along and they wanted to bluff a little bit of Jaden Reed coming back to have them maybe think about that a little bit, them being obviously the Lions. But let us know in the comments if you're watching this video back later what you think. And make sure you hit like, subscribe, and click that bell icon so you're notified when we go live here in the future. All right, let's talk a little – Ragnow here. Tim, I want to get your take on this, man. So Adam Schefter tweeted out, Frank Ragnow's first chance to play for the Lions will come next Thursday versus the Cowboys, though it's considered unlikely for now per source. A potential return to play date is December 14th at the LA Rams. So listen, the Lions are trying to hold on a little bit. They're in third place in the North. We're literally 2 weeks away from them leading in the North. That can happen just like that. But if they drop another game or two, Ragnow may look up and go, I ain't coming back for this, right? Just to not make the playoffs. So that's kind of where we're at when you look at all these teams that are bunched together. It feels like whether it's the Lions, the Packers, or the Bears, either of those teams, if they lose 3 games instead of just 2 from here on out, probably going to miss the playoffs with the way that NFC is shaking out. But what do you think about this with Ragnow, man? Because like Schefter had pointed out before, 4-time Pro Bowl center Frank Ragnow is coming out of retirement to return to the Lions. I mean, you're talking about a guy that was grading out top 3 offense or top 3 center in the league, if I remember correctly, in terms of PFF, man. What do you think about this?
Yeah, I think it's a sign of the times, right? Look at Detroit. They're not immune to the injury bug. I mean, it's all hands on deck. They got Ragnow coming out of retirement, for crying out loud. I wonder how that worked out with the negotiations, or if that was just something where, he saw his former team, struggling on that O-line and said, hey, I still got my helmet and my pads. I haven't been away that long. Let's get back and try and help out. But it's true. I mean, we're getting down the stretch here. Nobody's immune to injury in the NFL, right? Everybody's banged up in their own right. Look at the injuries we're dealing with, both sides of the ball, and Detroit is no stranger to that either. So I think that's a sign of the times, right? They're looking for all the help they can get there, and I don't blame them. I mean, they've got some tough ball games, including this one tomorrow, and you saw the way our defensive front played, against Minnesota. Why not? I mean, you got banged up centers and guards on your O-line. It makes sense that Mr. Ragnow is going to come back and make another go of it. And, even a guy like that at, 80 to 90% is still probably better than the other options that they have right now.
Yeah, and as Ron Sample points out here in the chat, Ragnow graded as a top center with multiple injuries all at once. He was completely banged up that final year. I think that's one of the things that kind of led him to, obviously going ahead and stepping into retirement. And this has been a big talking point on X today as 2-0 for this. Says bring back 69 in response. Bring back Bach, right? Let's bring back Bach Tiardi.
D-Bach's like, I ain't playing on that turf. Forget about it.
Ain't happening. And Elijah Gwynn said TJ Lang want to come back for us? ? TJ Lang actually tweeted that out, didn't he? He said something like, I can't remember what it was he said. It was a decision coming up or something. I can't remember how he worded it, but he kind of made a little joke, which TJ Lang was a fun guy to watch, man. I hate that he's kind of tied to the Lions too, Yeah. But TJ Lang I think it was a good draft pick, man. Just one of those guys that he wasn't like this all-pro offensive lineman, but he was definitely a guy that I feel like he was better than above average, probably a good offensive lineman.
I would agree with that.
Yeah. It's fun to kind of walk back down memory lane, and not so cool. How about Josh Sitton? Josh Sitton probably would strap it up, man. That dude, he's a madman. I remember when they cut him. They just cut him. What was in the preseason, Tim, or was it early in the season? I was shocked.
I think it was going into the season. Yeah, it was preseason.
I was like, what? You just cut a former Pro Bowl guard? Nobody expected it. It just came out of nowhere, and no one will reveal the details, but I've heard on Wildy and Tausch before, they talked about stuff going on behind the scenes with no details. So I imagine he went in there, was upset about his contract, maybe said something, and they were like, yeah, you know what, let's just move on. And next thing you know, did he suit up for the Bears? Did he suit up for the Bears? Am I thinking right?
Sitton? I think so.
Where did Sitton play, guys? Let me know in the chat. I'm trying to remember.
Where's Bates when you need him? Come on, Jamie, help us out.
Yeah, exactly. Did Josh Sitton play for the Bears? Why am I remembering that way? That's horrible if that wasn't the case. So let's move it along here as they look that information up for us. Shout out to our buddy Rob Westerman over on X. The Packers have released kicker Lucas Havrisik. All right. Yeah, here we go. Bates is in here. Let me
look. We
jump
got
back
it
here. Bates says September 3rd, 2016, Sitton was released by the Green Bay Packers in an unexpected move. And then on September 4th, 2016, Sitton signed a 3-year contract with the Chicago Bears for $21.7 million and $15 million guaranteed. So there you go. Thank you, Bates. I was thinking I remembered that. So Lucas Havrisik has been released. All right. Havrisik holds the franchise record for the longest field goal, the 61-yarder he nailed against Arizona earlier this season. Thank you, Lucas, says Rob Westerman. And it's wild, Tim, that so many fans just wanted to throw Brandon McManus to the side and say, hey, Lucas Havrisik's the kicker now. We need to, and it's easy to fall into that. I've fell into those type of conversations many times, but the reality is he's kicking in practice. They know what he's doing in practice. They know what Brandon McManus is doing in practice, and they went with the guy not only who has more experience, but was definitely he was obviously making more of his kicks than McManus or than Havrisik was here. And I like what Coach Lynn says here. Back to teaching, yes, sir. Hey, how about that, though, Tim? Just hop out of the classroom, break one of the most storied NFL teams' franchise record for the longest kick, and then just go right back into the classroom. Pretty cool.
Yeah, not bad for a substitute teacher, right? Arguably the greatest kicking substitute teacher in the history of substitute teachers, right? That'll be a cool story for the class when he's back teaching. But you never know. He could get, picked up on a practice squad. He may end up on our practice squad again at some point in time. We don't necessarily know yet. Just roster moves. And I'm with you, Clay. We'll always remember the 61-yarder ice water in the veins, booted the hell out of it. Probably would have been good from 63 or 64 even. But hey, that's one huge kick, and he did a great job filling in when we needed him. But down the stretch, bottom line, the reason we extended McManus and brought him here in the first place is that experience. And that's the guy you want kicking the football for you when you're making a playoff push, for sure.
Absolutely, man. There's no doubt about that. And again, I think he was good for his role there, right? And we'll see if he gets picked up somewhere else. I know there's people in the chat that I love what Elijah Gwynn says here. Can't wait for that bar trivia in 20 years. Who holds the record for the longest kick in Packers history? It'll be Ryan Longwell. It'll be
it'll be all the guys who did previously hold them, right? Chris Jackie, Longwell.
And then when they say Lucas Haversick, somebody's going to get mad and they're going to owe somebody a beer over that, I promise you. So, speaking of Mommy says, thank you for the contributions, Haversick. Yes,
they're going to say Lucas Haversick, and everyone's going to go, who?
That's exactly right. Exactly right. I'll tell you what else we're saying who to, by the way, is this guy right here, Will Sheppard. That name sound familiar, Tim?
Here's a guy, Colorado Buffalo.
Yeah. Most people, I was reading a tweet here from Willie Shepherd says, I don't know anybody who demonstrates more perseverance than Will Sheppard. Most people don't know all the twists and turns of his journey. He is so deserving. Hello, 53-man roster. So he was officially signed to the 53-man roster roughly 4 hours ago. And, of course, right on the money here, Dara Carragher pulls up, goes to the tape, and says, Will Sheppard's last snap as a Packer from this preseason. Now we wait and see if he'll be back there tomorrow. As you can see here rolling the tape, that was him returning a punt in the preseason this year. And see how he did here, man. So takes it, bounces it outside, picks up a little block, a little half-ass block there. We'll take it, though. Decent return. Tim, do you think this is why they signed him? Do you think who's been doing the punt return? Romeo Dobbs, right?
Yep.
Who's been doing the kick returning? Savion's out. I wonder if they got Will in here. I wonder if they got Will Sheppard in here to return kickoff and possibly be a backup punt returner behind Dobby, maybe something like that. Maybe Savion is the backup punt returner and you're kind of covering your bases. How do you see this, man?
I agree. I think back to our training camp coverage, and I was fired up when Will Sheppard, was signed to the practice squad. And I think it's plays like this that earned him that spot. And he's got really good hands. He's got the right attitude, great work ethic, promising young receiver. So I think, he's active, and he probably will be a return guy. I mean, you think about, Savion being out. Yeah. Who are you going to put back there? Are you going to give Rome double duty and have him out there running routes all day long, in this receiver room? So I like Will Sheppard. I think he has the potential to break one off here, especially in a dome. You might get an explosive. I'm all for it, man. But it's plays like this that earn him a spot, on the practice squad to begin with, just to even be elevated right now.
Right. And we had, I think, a 7th round grade on him on our draft board, if I remember correctly. But I know there was other people that were very, very high on Will Sheppard, very high on Will Sheppard. He had a couple of metrics in college that really popped, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So.
And you think of all the players on, that were on the draft board out of Colorado, he kind of got overshadowed, I think.
Yeah, I agree with that. All right, so moving along, before we get into a little defensive talk, let us know if you're watching this video back later. Let us know in the comments what you think about Ragnow coming out of retirement. Also, the roster moves. Do you agree with them letting Haversick go? Are you okay with McManus kind of being the only kicker on the roster moving forward? And how do you feel about the addition of Will Sheppard? Man, how cool would it be if Will Sheppard goes out there tomorrow and returns a kick for a touchdown or something? That would be absolutely awesome. And then he would go back to teaching. He doesn't teach him. Just kidding. They cut him loose in a couple weeks, right? So anyway, let us know in the comments what you think about that. And make sure you hit like, subscribe, and click that bell icon so you're notified when we go live here in the future. All right, let's move forward, boys and girls. Let's talk a little defense, man. This is the first time I've seen this pop up. So PFSN over on X, all right, they have roughly 60,000 followers, pretty big account, right? The top NFL defenses in Week 12, according to PFSN's defense impact metric, okay? And I'm sure they take a multitude of things into consideration here, so you can go check it out over at pfsn.app/NFL defense. But at the top of the list, the grade that they give the Green Bay Packers defense, Tim, 93.2 is the grade. The Rams second at 88.9. Houston Texans third at 87.5. Atlanta Falcons at 86.2. And then the Raiders at 84.5, which really surprised me. Of course, their offense is cheeks out there, if I remember correctly. 84.4 for the Cleveland Browns, a team that was able to upset us earlier in the season, but we talked about them being one of the better defenses in the league. So, again, Green Bay grading out 93.2. It's not really close, man. You're talking about almost a 5-point lead over the second place defense here, according to this metric. If you were to kind of rank Green Bay's defense, would you say they're the top defense in the league? Do you feel like they're top 5? Where would you put them at, man?
Definitely top 5 and trending towards that number 1 spot, I think. I mean, we talked about championship level defense after that Vikings game. We got to see it on full display. Tomorrow's going to be another test. Banged up or not, Detroit is no joke. You're playing in their building. I think we're going to get another great performance, but I would easily put us in that top 5. And maybe that's me being a bit of a homer and a huge fan of what Jeff Hafley and DeMarcus Covington and, Coach Ogabasi and the boys are doing over there. Shout out to the Ball King. We're starting to get those turnovers. It's starting to happen. This is when you want to play your best ball down the stretch, heading into a playoff berth and hopefully a Super Bowl run. So I think top 5 easily, trending towards that number 1 spot for sure.
Yeah. And it's interesting to see how other people kind of look at defense. They put more stock in different metrics. And like I said, you guys can go click on that link and check it out for yourself and see exactly how they come up with it. I love looking at differing opinions and kind of comparing it in contrast to what we see. As Corey Murphy says, he thinks they're at least top 3.
That's
right. Jay Cole says Browns number 1. All right. Kyle Andretti says top 5 for sure for the Packers defense. So when you look at our PTA rankings here, right? As Jerry pointed out, yeah, Denver's missing. I noticed that too because, and again, we don't know exactly what they're taking into consideration here, but it might have a lot to do with turnover differential as well or takeaways because that's something that they've struggled at a little bit. But when you look at the defensive points per play, so defensive scoring for me, I've got the Rams 1, Broncos 2, Texans 3, Green Bay 4, and then Indianapolis 5 in terms of defensive points per play allowed. Seattle kind of tied with them too, sitting in the number 5 spot. Notice we didn't say the Detroit Lions, right? You've got to get all the way down to 12th to find the Lions in terms of scoring defense. So they've struggled a bit. I mean, they're still top half of the league, but definitely not top 10 in that regard. Now, when you jump over to defensive yards per play allowed, and we sort by that metric, we've got Denver 1, so that agrees with you there, Jerry, right? And then we've got Houston 2. Green Bay is tied for second best as well. Now, we pointed out earlier today on the pod, the show that we did earlier, live stream here on YouTube, that the Packers are actually leading in yards per pass attempt allowed. They're tied with the Houston Texans for first there. So when you take all these metrics into consideration, Tim, you're talking about scoring defense 4th, yards per play allowed second, and then turnover margin, of course, as a team is not. So our takeaways are much, much lower, unfortunately. So I think we're a top 5 defense is where I would put us, man. I feel comfortable saying top 5. I can understand if someone disagrees that Green Bay is 3. I don't think I agree with this metric here where they say they're first, although I'm all about it. I love it. I hope I'm wrong there, right? So that's kind of how I see the defense ranking. But I think turnovers, man, got to get more turnovers. Got to do it,
Yeah. This hopefully tomorrow's the game, right? Takeaways, create turnovers, man.
Yeah. It's funny you mentioned that too, because there's a matchup that we may see a couple times tomorrow. We'll see how everything unfolds and where they line up Micah Parsons. But this right here shaping up to be a dandy. All right. So we have PFF tweeting out Penei Sewell and Micah Parsons are set to put on a Thanksgiving show. So Penei Sewell's overall defensive grade, according to PFF, is a 95.9, right? Micah Parsons' overall defensive grade is a 91.8. Now, Micah's got 10 sacks. Penei Sewell has not allowed a sack, according to PFF. Now, like Ryan pointed out, however, you look at Micah's pass rush grade, and it's like a 91, 90, 91-ish, something like that, if I remember correctly. Penei Sewell's pass blocking grade is like a 77. Now, he's an elite run blocker, but his pass blocking, still 77 is good, don't get me wrong. I feel like him and Zach Tom, if people want to say Penei Sewell's a better right tackle than Zach Tom, I can understand that argument. I think sometimes Zach Tom's better than him. Sometimes he's better than Zach Tom. But I think they're two top 5 tackles, in my opinion, especially right tackles, possibly top 3 right tackles. But this matchup right here, bro, is going to be a lot of fun to watch, man. It's going to be so much fun to watch. I can't wait to see them lined up over each other because people were trying to convince us Christian Darrisaw was just going to blank him. And he got blanked.
What happened there?
Micah Parsons beat him like a drum all day long, man. So what do you think about this matchup here, man, if we do end up seeing it? Because it's going to be Gary or Micah on Penei Sewell all day long, right?
I like either of those, honestly. But I do feel like Detroit's going to try and run. So we have to key in on the run fit in this game. If we're able to contain that running attack from Detroit, we got a real good chance at winning this ball game handily. But yeah, like you said, in pass pro, I'll take Micah over Penei Sewell. Actually, that might be the matchup to really watch in this game, honestly.
Yeah, definitely. Let's go to the chat, see what everybody's saying here. So Joe Pack Joe says Micah cooked Penei Sewell week 1 with PFF smoking. So yeah, I mean, that first game of the season, man. And Micah was he hadn't practiced in a while.
Yeah, Micah was at like 65%, somewhere around that, 60, 65.
65%.
65%. That's what
now he's at 100%. I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun to watch it unfold, man. Let's go back to the chat here. Bree Markable, I hope I'm saying that right. A top 3 or top 5 defense can win a Super Bowl. Absolutely. Amen. It just so happened the Packers had the best defense in the league. And again, it depends on what metric you looked at, but they were known as or recognized as the best defense in the league in 96 when they won the Super Bowl. And they were the best defense in the league in 2010 when they won the Super Bowl. So you want to get as close to that number 1 spot as possible. But I completely agree with what's said here, Tim. Top 5 is good enough to win a championship, and especially if you get hot at the right moment.
Amen. I agree 100%. Hell, even a top 10, you could argue. If you've got a defense, within the top 10 and you're executing and getting it done, you got a chance to bring home a Lombardi. But top 5 for sure, you've got a chance to get it done.
Yeah. Ron Sample in the chat says Penei Sewell can't single pass block Parsons. I don't know if anybody can, to be honest with you. I mean, you're seeing 3 guys block him at once. It's wild to see how much resources they allocate to stopping Micah. Not So Cool says, I'll leave Sewell on Micah one and one then. All right, got it. So that's going to be one of the matchups to watch for, man. It's definitely going to be one of the matchups to watch for. I'm excited to see exactly how Micah and really Jeff Hafley approaches attacking this defense or this offense, because Jared Goff, I feel like he's a top 10 quarterback, and we'll dive into those numbers here in a second. I feel like he's a top 10 quarterback. Jahmyr Gibbs is, 1 week he's playing like the best running back in the league. The next week you'd say he's top 15, right? But he is definitely one of the better running backs in the National Football League. So you got to be careful with his explosiveness, his ability to hit those home runs. But at the same time, you want to get after Goff as much as possible. It kind of feels like, for me, you get into passing situations, drop 7 into coverage, and bring that nickel 3-3-5 Joker 1, and let's just push the middle of that pocket right into Jared Goff's lap. That's what I feel like should be the pass rush game plan tomorrow. Now, they're going to see that on tape from Minnesota, right, where we just dominated. They're going to see that on tape, and they're going to try to allocate resources to stop that. So maybe it's time to see a Micah little jab step off the Joker 1 and actually drop into coverage and fire a nickel off the opposite side or something, right? You might get a little creative in that regard, but I really do feel like play the run until Jared Goff proves he can beat you with the pass. So I don't know how you see it with that. And when we look at the rankings here, just to get a little cross-reference, points per play in terms of offense, Detroit's actually 3rd in the league in points per play, right? Yards per play, they're ranked 3rd as well. So they're still a potent offense. There's no 2 ways about it. It's just they're pass blocking suspect, and they're really, really good at running the ball right now. So
I would anticipate that's their game plan. Try and build it through the run game, and then they're going to try and, we've called him check down Charlie before. That might be a little disrespectful, but Jared Goff, can get it done. But I think all it's going to take is one-on-one Micah on Penei Sewell, and Micah beating him once or twice before they're going to start sending chips and help over there in the pass game for sure. So I still believe that it's how well we defend the run is going to determine, the outcome of this ball game for us from a defensive standpoint.
Yeah, 2-0 for this says, I think McDuffie will be pivotal in stopping Gibbs, especially if they go to a lot of 12 and 21, right? I think they play 12 more than 21, obviously, but if they get into some of those base sets, yeah, McDuffie's going to play a big role. If Quay's good to go, now if Quay's not good to go, then maybe Tyron Hopper might end up being a little bit of the X factor there as well, which I felt like he held his own last week. He graded out really well, and nothing popped on tape to me to go, oh, bad move there, or maybe he got manhandled. I did not see any of that at all. So all right, so there you go. Penei Sewell versus Micah Parsons. If you're watching this video back later, let us know what you think about that matchup. Do you think Micah has the advantage? Do you think Penei Sewell come out on top? Do you think they'll even be matched up? Maybe it'll be something where Hafley keeps him away from Sewell and just let him eat off the left side, or like we said, blitz him from that Joker one spot. Let us know in the comments what you think, and make sure you hit subscribe and click that bell icon so you're notified when we go live here in the future. All right, Tim, I get so tired of saying that, but we have to do it. We have to do it. Let's talk quarterbacks for a second. All right. You got a key matchup here. Jordan Love, albeit he's a little banged up, against Jared Goff. You look at, there you go. That's all you need right there. And by the way, did you notice we added somebody in the
who did MP1 riding shotgun. I like that.
Well, it's MP1's head. You can see it floating around in there. I don't know who did the Photoshop, but I greatly appreciate it. This was sent to me over on Twitter by somebody, so I'm sure they stole it off of someone. If you guys know who created that graphic, please give them credit in the comments. But Jordan Love a little banged up with the separated shoulder or what have you there against the Giants. Jared Goff, I don't think he's playing his best football this year personally. However, Fox Sports NFL put out a stock market ahead of week 13, okay, the quarterback stock market. And this is by, it looks like Henry McKenna's. All right, so that is his quarterback stock market. Number 1, Matthew Stafford. Number 2, Drake May. Number 3, Dak Prescott. Number 4 on the list, Jordan freaking Love.
J Money, the dime thrower.
That's right. Somebody once said that he they gave him the number 10 because he only throws dimes.
Receiver by 10 yards.
So, with that being said, Jordan Love coming in number 4 spot. You had Josh Allen ranking 5th, and Jared Goff is up 2 spots to the number 6 spot. Now, he moved up 2 spots after playing the Giants, obviously. Jordan Love stayed right where he was at number 4, obviously having a low statistical game where we ran the rock a large majority of the time against Minnesota. Never really had to throw the football in that game much. So you're talking about, in terms of the Fox NFL's rankings here in their quarterback stock market, Tim, you're going to have 2 top 10 quarterbacks going at it on Thanksgiving, man. You've got one of the best tackles in the game going up against arguably the best pass rusher. You've got 2 top 10 quarterbacks going at it. You've got Christian Watson on one side at receiver. You've got Amon-Ra St. Brown on the other. You've got Josh Jacobs toting the rock for the Packers. You've got Jahmyr Gibbs toting the rock for the Lions. When you really step back and think about this, these teams are built very similar.
Yeah.
But what do you think about this
We're
quarterback?
talking about Josh Jacobs and Jahmyr Gibbs, right? Well, don't forget about Emmanuel Wilson and Mr. Montgomery too.
Right.
RB2s are real deal with both of these teams as well. And just like you said, much like the the edge and O-line matchup we just discussed, much like the quarterback comparison, we're going to be in for a treat. Hell of a ball game. I'm sticking with this game's going to be decided by less than a tutter. I truly believe it.
Yeah. And Chris in the chat says, win the turnover battle. Amen, 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 amen. When we sort our PTA power rankings by the turnover margin column, all right, Green Bay is sitting in the number. They're tied for 9th in turnover margin. You guys know that's just basically the differential between how often you give the ball away and how often you take the ball away. So they're sitting in the 9th spot. Detroit is actually just ahead of them, tied for 7th. All right. So keep that in mind, that they are taking the ball away and protecting the ball a little bit better collectively, right, than the Packers are at the moment. So we've got to really win that turnover differential, Chris. I think you're spot on there, man. And when it comes down to Jordan Love and Jared Goff, who we've seen Jared Goff give the ball away multiple times in a game, and we've damn sure seen Jordan do that in the past as well. Specifically, if I remember correctly, against Detroit, where he got to scrambling through. I think he threw a pick 6, if I remember correctly. Was it to Kirby Joseph, I think? So now, obviously, them being without Kirby Joseph, who I think led the league in interceptions last year up there with Xavier McKinney, you think you like this, us having Xavier McKinney and Evan Williams healthy, them missing Kirby Joseph, you like your chances of Green Bay maybe winning that turnover battle a little bit better than Detroit. But what do you think about that, Tim, in terms of the turnover battle? Who do you give the edge to there, man? Because the numbers are saying Detroit, but things change as the season goes along.
I think you flip a coin, right? And who's going to execute better out there? Bottom line, be at least +1 in that category if you can. But looking at, their defense, they've got some key guys missing or banged up, and, so do we. So it's going to come down to executing, right? It's bottom line. So as long as we're +1, I'll take it, man. I think that could be what determines who comes away with the win. Honestly, that one turnover, one takeaway could change the whole momentum of the game.
Yeah, definitely. Let's take another look at a metric here. I'm going to give a shout out to Sam Hoppin on X. Make sure you'll give him a follow. Key quarterback stats as they put a chart together here. I don't know if I can get it zoomed in enough or not. I probably would have been better off the other way around. Let's see here if we can get a little closer. All right. Tim, could you tell me, I know it's fine print there, who's at the top of this list? Who is that right there?
Oh, that would be Mr. J Money, Jordan Alexander Love, number 1, the number 1 spot.
There you go. So PFF grade 83.5. So what he does is it looks like he takes all the numbers and then by the rankings, he comes up with a final grade there at the end, right? But Jordan Love at the top, PFF grade 83.5, EPA per play 0.27, success rate 50.5%, CPOE 5.7%, turnover worthy play rate is at 2.8%. We were just talking turnover. This is the number I want to key in on. So Jordan Love is ranked 14th, it looks like, at 2.8%. Where is our boy, Jared Goff? He's at 1.8%. So he's definitely protecting the football much better than Jordan Love in terms of turnover-worthy play rate. Now, when you look at some of the other metrics, clean pocket EPA per play. So with the clean pocket, Jared Goff is sitting 5th best at a 0.41. Jordan Love is best in the league at a 0.53. So if they can protect, if we can really hold back Aiden Hutchinson from getting in Jordan's face here too much, I think we got a really good shot at winning this ball game. When you go EPA per play, Jared Goff is 11th, Jordan Love is 1st. So again, that's just kind of give you an idea of where they rank. Now, another thing here, average depth of target, Tim, 6.3 yards for Jared Goff. That's 30th in the league. Jordan Love's is 8.1. That's 14th. So what's that tell you? Probably going to be trying to dink and dunk underneath, right? And that's what J.J. McCarthy tried to do last week. And when he did hold on the ball too long, he got smacked in the mouth. So not having Laporta here, as Chris says, that's a great point, sir. That's going to help, right? I can't imagine if Jared Goff did not have Sam Laporta all year long, his numbers would look this good, right? So they're pretty banged up, man. The Packers, the football gods, Tim, they have shined down on us for this one. We've got every opportunity to win this ball game. You just got to go out there, and you can't overlook the guys that are on the field, though.
No, I agree wholeheartedly. And it's about doing your damn job, right? You've got to execute. You can only play the guy in front of you, And, I think at the end of the day, I'm looking forward to seeing what Hafley's got dialed up, defensively. I think we saw a lot more pressure than we've seen in the last few weeks against the Vikings. I'm wondering if that's going to be the formula tomorrow against Detroit. Maybe dial up some of those pressure looks.
Yeah, it's funny you said that too, because when you look at the pressure to sack rate, right? So think about this, guys. This is basically when a quarterback is pressured, how often does he go down with the sack, right? Jared Goff's 14th in the league at 20.2% of the time. Jordan Love is 6th best at 14.3% of the time. So Jared Goff is not good at avoiding sacks. So if he doesn't play on time, if the ball doesn't come out early, there's a good chance you can hit home with a sack there for sure. So going to be interesting, man, to see how these two quarterbacks match up tomorrow. They're going to be a lot of fun. So anything else you want to add to the Jared Goff versus Jordan Love comparison here, Tim? Anything at all, man?
Yeah, J Money's winning that battle tomorrow. That's it.
I know this, man. He's played damn good on Thanksgiving. We actually had a tweet earlier. I don't have it now, but what is it, like 5 touchdowns, no interceptions? His passer rating through the roof on his 2 games, 2 days, 2 Thanksgivings that he's played in since becoming a starter. Obviously, the first year was at Detroit, just like tomorrow, and then the other one was last year at home against Miami, which, man, they need to make that a regular. We got to play Thanksgiving Day at Lambeau Field is a must-have every year, dude. We need to figure out a way to let the league to let them have that. That'd be absolutely awesome. So,
yes, sir.
Anyway,
even though we got this guy,
this dirtbag, Reno 911's finest right there. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. If you guys listen on the pod, like, what are y'all talking about? It's Ron Tolbert. What an asshat. He'll be out there calling the game tomorrow, boys. He'll be refereeing, so get ready for that. But in terms of the quarterback matchup, if you're watching this video back later, let us know what you think. Jared Goff versus Jordan Love at Ford Field. Who do you think has the edge? Do you think Jared Goff puts it together, even though they're a little banged up, missing his tight end one? Or do you think Jordan Love missing his tight end one and Tucker Kraft puts it together and the Packers get the dub? We want to hear from y'all in the comments. Detroit Lion fans, too, let us know, man. Hit us up in the comments. Let us know what you think about this matchup between Jordan Love and Jared Goff as well. And Detroit Lion fans, earmuff it. I don't want you doing this, but if you're a Packer fan, make sure you hit subscribe and click that bell icon so you're notified when we go live here in the future. All right. So, Tim, I was thinking about jumping in the PFF preview real quick. I don't think we really need to, man. I think we've covered everything pretty good. What do you think, man? Should we dive into the lineups a little bit, or do you think we should just wrap this thing up? How do you feel about it, man?
I'm good to go either way, If you want to do a little bit of a, maybe not a deep dive, but maybe
just a quick skim through.
Yeah,
let's do that. Let's do a quick little skim through. All right, so here are the lineups, guys, and let's make sure that we're going mostly 11 versus nickel. All right. So their offensive line from left to right: Deckard 67.3, Penei Sewell 95.9 over to the right side, and then back over to the left side at guard. Awasika, if I'm saying that right, Awasika, 60.8 at guard. Tate Ratledge doing pretty good, 67.5. We had a decent grade on him coming out of college in our PFF draft board, so he's playing pretty good football. And then you got Glasgow, of course, who is out, so they don't even have anybody listed here. Tim, who's going to play? It's got to be Tate, right? Got to be Tate Ratledge, you think?
They might kick him in, I would think. I mean, I don't know. I'm not familiar with how they adjust their O-line. It's hard enough to pay attention to how we're adjusting our own O-line with the injuries we've had. But I would think that possibly they kick the rookie inside. Yeah.
And then when you look at the rest of kind of the Tuesday players, if you will, Amon-Ra St. Brown, a 90.0. He's the fourth highest graded receiver. That's the receiver you got to stop. You cannot overlook J-Mo, though. Jameson Williams he is a threat. You got to really be aware of him. And then Jahmyr Gibbs in the backfield is grading out as the best running back this season with a 90.7. His run grade's 88.1. His receiving grade, 91.3.
I was just going to say, don't forget about him in the passing attack, too.
There was one game. You guys correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. I think he got targeted like 12 times or something in one game. It was unbelievable. So they definitely like to go to him early and often. And, of course, the backup tight end they got listed is Brock Wright, who's out, right, Tim? Did we not say that? Or was he questionable?
I think he was questionable.
Yeah, so now listen, he hasn't graded out good, 53, 54, 48, 52, 52. But nonetheless, he's definitely no Sam Laporta. So, again, stop Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jahmyr Gibbs. Don't treat Jared Goff like Joe Montana, right? Treat him like any other quarterback. Go out there and play your game. And some people got that Waterboy reference there. Just go out there and play your game. You'll be all right. When you look at Carrington Valentine, 15th highest graded corner right now at 74.5. Keyshawn Nixon, if he plays, 68.2. He's the 32nd highest graded. Bullard keeps on climbing up. He's about to crack the top 40 amongst all corners, not just slot corners. Of course, you got Micah Parsons at a 91.8, and Rashawn Gary sitting at a 70 there. Solid grade for him. And then Devontae Wyatt, we need to get that grade up. But they're showing McDuffie and Cooper right here, 73 and 74. We did a deep dive on that where you get the 16th and the 18th highest graded linebackers, and now McKinney is the 8th highest graded safety. So along with Evan Williams, 72.6, the 22nd highest graded safety. Jeff Hafley's done a hell of a job with this defense. So
absolutely.
All right, let's switch gears now, Tim. Let's jump over to the opposite side of the ball. Let's go nickel versus 11. That's what we'll see the majority of the time. Packers offensive line, don't look now. They're starting to improve a little bit. Rasheed Walker, 67. Zach Tom, 81, right? You've got Aaron Banks is slowly creeping up around the 60 mark. He's the 44th best, highest graded guard. Guys, you got to count it as 64, right? Because they put left guards and right guards together in this group. He's 44 out of 64 in terms of starting guards, right? So that's better than where he started, no doubt about it. Now, Jordan Morgan, will it be him or Anthony Belton? That's going to be something to keep an eye on, Tim. That may tell the entire story on whether or not they think Anthony Belton could be the right guard moving forward. Of course, Darian Kennard will be that extra tight end when we go to those heavy sets, which I really, really have enjoyed watching that happen. So,
yeah, I agree. And I'm looking forward to seeing Sean Ryan with another start under his belt. Let's see how he does.
Yeah, let him continue to settle in, right?
Yep.
Their defensive line, Aiden Hutchinson's a dog, 90.7. There's your Tuesday player, along with Jack Campbell at 90.0, second highest graded linebacker. Their defensive line, back to it, Muhammad in the middle, 72.6, solid grade there. So you got two really good defensive linemen. I imagine they like to put them on opposite sides, go 3 to a 9 or a 1 to a 9, maybe a 3 to a 7, 1 to a 9 type approach on the defensive front. But solid defensive front there. Jack Campbell's playing really good football.
Yep.
Josh
Anzalone
Jacobs
too. Don't sleep on Anzalone as well.
Right.
They got good linebackers.
Yep. And their safety, listen, Harper's stepping in. He's the 10th highest graded safety. Thomas Harper, former Notre Dame Fighting Irish, looks like he was undrafted. So, yeah, he's the 10th highest graded safety as it sits right now. Kind of looks like Kirby Joseph might be getting exposed a little bit, like, hey, maybe in this defense any safety could shine here. But he had all the snaps last week, actually the last 2 weeks. So he's definitely taken over that role from him. Coverage grade 73.9. So pretty solid performance there, man.
Yeah, so I'm going to keep an eye on, considering Brian Branch is probably not 100%. I mean, he's going to go, but, he's not 100%.
Yeah, and he's playing like he's not 100% too this year, or over the last 3 years, 78, 83. This year he's dipped to a 70, so he's struggling a bit this year for sure.
Yep.
I know he felt like he got bullied out there that one game, but anyway. Wide receiver play for the Packers. Christian Watson, don't look now. He's the 10th highest graded receiver in the league. He's up to an 82.3. You see it in the run blocking. You see it in the pass catch and the route run, everything across the board. Terrion Arnold's banged up. He's grading out a 52.7. I think he's been banged up his entire career with that grade.
And he's questionable, right, going into this game. So who knows?
Now, DJ Reed on the opposite side, one of their big free agent acquisitions this offseason. His PFF grades the last 4 years, 72, 77. Then last year, 70. This year, he's sitting at a 68. So not bad, but not crazy good. Amik Robertson, they're showing as the slot corner. Of course, we know Branch can play that role as well. He's grading out as a 54.2. So, yeah, I think it's going to be one of those things where if Matthew Golden plays, you're going to see a lot of Dobbs, Golden, and Watson when they go to 11 personnel, although Wicks has been earning more snaps too. He's up to a 66, been making plays. Jordan Love, your 6th highest graded quarterback in the league here at 83.5, and Josh Jacobs sitting at 80.9. I think Josh Jacobs, Tim, I think we'll wrap up with this. I think Josh Jacobs is going to come out here and go, you know what? Everybody talking about how good Jahmyr Gibbs is. I'm going to make them forget about him today. I'm going to go ahead and run my ass off. I think we could see a big Josh Jacobs game if he's healthy. Although, if somehow, some way you jump out to an early lead, limit those carries for Josh and let him get healthy. It's just going to be hard to keep him off the field, I believe, man.
I agree. He was probably feeling that way last week against Minnesota, right? Just a few short days ago. So, giving him that rest on a short week, I think he's going to be amped up for this game. And maybe they'll keep him, under a microscope a little bit, kind of keep an eye on him. But I'm with you, Clay. Hopefully we, get a 2 or 3 score lead again. And, you can turn back the workload a little bit and give E. Wilson and Mr. Brooks some carries and, get out of there with a dub. But Josh is just too valuable of a player to risk anything significant because you're going to need him down the stretch for a playoff push.
Completely agree, man. Completely agree. All right, guys, there you go. Just a brief little PFF preview. And again, with the power rankings, when you sort our power rankings, matter of fact, I'll drop it down and put it on the screen real quick for you guys. And guys, you can check this out over in our Patreon group. It's another perk to being a member at patreon.com/Packer Fan Total Access. You've got access to this right here. And again, this isn't my personal opinion with power rankings. It's all data driven, right? And you'll see the low score wins here. We got everything evenly weighted, winning percentage, offensive points per play, defensive points per play, offensive yards per play, defensive yards per play allowed, and turnover margin. Everything comes out to an average. We got the Rams 1, Colts 2, the Detroit Lions, we've got 3rd. And you're going, Clayton, how's their record so bad if you got them ranked so high? Great question. Ask Dan Campbell. That'd be my guess, right? That's probably on the coaches. They probably lost some games they should have won. Seattle is 4, and then Green Bay is in the number 5 spot as it sits right now. And they are right on Seattle's heels, which is a good place to be, I believe. So, again, that's just kind of how that shakes out. The big weakness for Detroit, defensive points per play. Their scoring defense has been pretty bad, which tells me when your yards per play allowed is 7th, your points per play is 12th, the red zone efficiency or the red zone defense have probably been pretty bad. So that makes sense.
Absolutely. Shout out Excelio for putting that together for us too.
Yeah. Yeah, and get well soon, Excelio. Excelio down right now, boys and girls. My man been working too hard, and
he's on IR with his boy right now.
Yeah, Excelio hurt his back pretty bad, and anybody who's ever had a bulging disc or a ruptured disc, I've been there. Me no like you that, Jan. It's one of the most painful things you ever go through, and you got to take the time and get back from it. So, anyway, that's it, guys. There you go. There is your Packers-Lions preview. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in tonight. Tim, thank you for your time. We'll get out of here. Let everybody get rested up for Thanksgiving tomorrow. We'll be going live at 10 a.m. Central Time for the PTA pregame show, and then we'll go live immediately following for the PTA post-game show. So if everybody would, please do me a big, big favor. Smash that like button on the way out. Make sure you hit subscribe if this was your first time tuning in tonight as well. And click that bell icon so you're notified whenever we go live. Like I did earlier, if you guys want to go check that video out, just did a quick little stream earlier today breaking down some stuff. So go check that out as well. But everybody have a wonderful evening. Stay safe out there. Get rested up. Happy Thanksgiving. I know I'm thankful for Tim. I'm thankful for Emilio. I'm thankful for Ryan over at PackerNet. I'm thankful for Jacob. I know Jacob's thankful for the ladies at the club. And I'm definitely thankful for everybody who tunes in every day and supports the channel. We don't deserve it, and we greatly, greatly appreciate you guys. So we will see y'all tomorrow. Everybody have a wonderful evening. Bye.
Here we go. We're out.
Bye, guys.